This has been a day of wandering and discovering new things. I was not expecting to be in Carterville, Illinois. This was another wrong turn that led to the right place. We are at Cricket and Red Brick Antique Mall. Someone had recommended this place and I hear it's good. Let's go look. The owner is in the back there, and she's really busy, as you can see, but she took a moment to tell me a little about the building. This side was a drugstore, the other side was a doctor's office, and upstairs, where they've just expanded dealer spaces, was originally a brothel. So I guess the good doctor had a thing going here. I like this Stanley plane. It looks like 1930s or 40s. I think they made them for a while in that design, though, with the double handle so that you could do smooth molding over the top of it with that plane. I like that they found a lot of wooden cases that would have been similar to what would have been used in a store like this back in the old days. And this one just happens to be carrying wigs and a couple of Caro-Nan purses. You can see a little bit of the evolution of Caro-Nan on the right there. Notice the finish is a little bit more refined up at the top, and the buildings are painted on the top, and they don't have the gaps to put your store's name in. The one on the left shows their original concept, which is where you painted the street scenes and then left blanks, and you could paint in local business names and have those businesses sell your purses directly to the public. That's how Caro-Nan made their business. These folks painted their shelf so that it really jumps out, and it's certainly attracting my attention, especially all the color down here. These are reeded side, fired on color glasses, and they did those for several decades. Next to it, this really cool set. Anytime you see these in a caddy, especially, I like that they're aluminum, and especially because they're decorated. We don't really see decorated ones this much. It's priced about right for retail, but that is a really neat set, and I like the copper tone. That's something that I would pick up if it were cheaper. You can tell this is a more recent mall because even though it's got a lot of stuff, a lot of it's definitely more the mid-20th century things that people are currently more avidly collecting. And this hat with the Gulf Oil and all the SEC team logos is certainly something that could sell during football season coming up. I don't see the price on the price tag, so we're going to take that up and start our pile with this and see if they can find out from the dealer how much. I'm working on getting a big Star Wars collection out of Eastern Washington, and these are the types of things people are definitely looking for. The original 1978 Kenner Star Wars toys are going to be the most valuable, and particularly if they have the box, that's why this Millennium Falcon is priced at $245. From Ernest Zon to the dance company, these teak trays, particularly if they seem a little better finished, I like that this has sort of an interior design here. These are things that people are really starting to collect, and the prices on some of them are pretty high, so don't just pass these by thinking, oh, it's just wood and nobody wants this stuff. This is very collectible and right on point with collecting now. Same goes for this early Tupperware set. This is a late 40s, early 50s set from when they first got started manufacturing in the Orlando, Florida area. It looks like they may go out of business, so I am looking for vintage pieces. There definitely are true antiques here, like this American oak dresser, but I'm interested in this piece of fabric down in the bottom because that's very 60s looking. Miller Beer barrel end. I like this mall concept where you have spaces that are open and people define it with the furniture rather than hard walls. Here's a neat thing. This is Jewel Tea. Yes, as in Hall's Autumn Leaf pattern, which was also known as Jewel Tea and was delivered by Jewel Tea trucks just like this one in the late 70s. Radio is neat too, priced at about $50. And I like this lamp, very nautical looking with the shells in the bottom. That definitely seems like a Florida piece. And the Kodak, wow, now that gal in the bikini for Kodak, that is a great ad piece from about 1970. I have a customer who really likes Kodak related items, so if we can get a good deal on this, I think I would take it back to Washington for him. Definitely seeing a lot of things that are older, but not necessarily collectible in this space. But they have a few things that are advertising related. The neat electric clock there for independent insurance agents. And then this guy, which must be a local thing, Pizza Inn. I've only seen Pizza Inns in this area, and apparently they did this phone, which doesn't look terribly old because it's round push buttons on the bottom. But it is kind of a fun figural piece that'll be collectible in the future. And they've got some tin drums and some other graphically cute childhood stuff. I like this for the graphic look too. This is a big drip cut. This is for batter rather than syrup out of the 1950s. Don't usually see those leaves painted on them. And then this little piece, I assume, is a bank, but how in the world do you use it? It doesn't look like coins would drop in there. I don't see a slot. I guess maybe you just folded and pushed bills into this one, because you can get it open with that screw on the end. This looks like something from about 1950. I like the horse motif. It's definitely something that sells in places that I sell. But I'm just not sure how functional that would be for a lot of people as a bank. Now, I like to look for the thing that doesn't seem like it belongs, and this little French perfume bottle from the late 20s or early 30s does not seem like the rest of this booth. It's very good quality glass. I don't know who made it. It's one of the French commercial bottles. Commercial because it has a sticker on it for the fragrance they were putting in, so it was made for the company as opposed to atomizers you would take home and decant your own fragrance into. I think this is really cute, and I'm going to take it at that price and give it a chance. You're always hearing about the Darwin Award winners, and oftentimes they're people who ignored signs like this. Danger, keep off the high tension wires. Well, that seems like it would be really good advice, and I like the sign too. From Illinois to Japan, Fire King Jadeite is one of the most collectible glass colors that there is right now. It's from the 50s originally. It's just such a soft, happy color. And the prices have always stayed high because there's interest all over the world for this stuff. Looking in here, I like the way they've defined their space with that old screen door with the fretwork from about 1900. Treasurecraft did this floral line right about 1970 when those green-blue glazes were popular. This hat isn't vintage, but Zeno picked it out for me because, well, I'm having one of those days. And we've got gloves to match, but I'm not going to wear them. I am going to look at them, though, because I like selling old gloves. Not a lot of people wear them now, but look at the condition of these. Brand new with the tag. $9 new, $3 today. Oh yeah, I'm going to take those. I still have some people who will wear them and like them for fancy dress or display. This is a nice little lusterware set from Japan from the 1930s, and it's got the oil and vinegar. The tops are not terribly worn, salt and pepper in a mustard pot. And the tray, that is a pretty standard set from that time. Cute. And this little vase is a company called Le Pere Pottery. This one actually has the mark on the bottom. They're usually not marked. You see them in pink and blue. You see some other shapes. I think it's about the only thing this company did in the late 40s. Zeno and I really enjoy looking at the old Sears catalogs, and a lot of people do. That's why they're collectible now. And no, that is not little George the Antique Nomad on there. That kid's a few years older than I was. That's the 1969 catalog. It's so much fun to see what things cost and what was popular and what was carried at a store like Sears that was very middle of the road. Porcelain owl with glass eyes. That's kind of a neat thing. Let's see who did this. It looks like... Oh, actually, it's one of these late 70s, early 80s from West Germany with the mark there that you see. Good quality porcelain, and those eyes just really have it. And only $12.50, I think we have a buy. I have been genuinely surprised to see today how much Treasurecraft and other California pottery made its way to southern Illinois. Those are the fruit line canisters there. And Zeno has found a really cool bunch of Van Briggle. I love the shells. This is the smaller shell. I like the acorn candlesticks as well. That's a neat lamp, the 50s era with the pixie on it. And then, let's see, there's some string art. And then this guy, I really like these polar bears. This is from the 50s. It's an American pottery company. Not sure who made it. This is interesting. Hager Centennial. I wonder if those were something that were widely distributed or if this was only to the accounts, because that could make that a rather scarce piece. I've never seen one before, so we're going to look that one up. It's only priced at $15, so that could be a sleeper. I'm going to do a little research here. Ooh, McCoy alligator. Yeah, that is a cool planter. We don't see him very much out of the 1940s. So I took a minute and did the research, and apparently they made a lot of these centennial vases for the people who worked in the factory as well as their accounts, so they're really not as scarce as I had imagined. I still think it's a good deal at $15, though.
These guys want to float off to Florida. And here's a whole case with a lot of 70s glass again. Fostoria coin. Fostoria coin really, dollar to dollar, is a little better deal than Moon and Stars if you like the pattern. It was made just as well, but it also was made in a really interesting variety of shapes. This lamp on the floor I've had before. It's just a very simple sort of miniature torch from the 40s or 50s, and it's only $19. It's actually a pretty good price, but the aluminum's a little bit worn on that. Unfortunately, that coloration sometimes wears off. Into the side room, which used to be the old doctor's office, we go after I look at this railroad lantern. It's 95. Which line is it? It doesn't say, just a standard one. Timex case over there. I would have liked to have had the Timex case we had at the estate sale in Spokane, but that had to go with customers. I don't see a tag. It may be that the dealer's planning on using it in the booth. Now we're far enough north that maybe these are not split like they usually are. They are the tiki glasses by Siestaware, and they have these mahogany jackets that are screen printed, but they're very thin, and so in hot climates, or if it just isn't cured right, then they will crack, as you see there. However, they seem to have these priced individually, and I would buy some of these individually if I could get a set of 4 that are not damaged. This one is in good shape. You also have to look at the metal. Yeah, I see 4 that are clean. You know, I just haven't found any. That one's got a big crack. No. Oh, come on, drum roll, please. We're down to the last one. Oh, and I feel the crack. Aw, boo. Oh yeah, that'll glow under a black light like crazy, and it is Frigidaire. I think it's what's the mark on the bottom? It just says yeah, because I think Anchor Hawking made that one for them. This one has 1 crack. It's noticeable, but it's actually not in the image area, and it's near the seam, so I'm almost tempted to suspend my rule of don't buy as is. I'm going to think about that for a minute. Much as I like them, I'm going to wait until I can find a set together and in better shape. This is a fun display. I like this mixing with the blue and the bright green. It kind of tones down where you see the green a little more individually. This is a neat piece. This is Italian. I like this style. I think this is undervalued. They're Venetian rather than Murano, and that might be the reason why. But now this one, is that a straw mark? Oh, that's nice. So that's Blanco, and it's got a little staining, but it looks like it might clean up.
How much?
Well, if I were them, I'd probably put 125 on it. I'm not entirely sure that flame stopper is right for that bottle, though. Well, here's a chance to talk about straw marks and inclusions in glass. This is a piece of batting from where it was laid in the lyre, and for some reason it cooked into the glass instead of burning off or staying attached to the main sheet, and it got into the glass and is in the body of the glass. And because of that, I'm going to reject it, even though it's only $30 and it would look good from the other 2 angles. It is a factory flaw. It's not damage, but it doesn't matter because it's so visually disturbing. And, you know, when you're looking for something like this, it's because you want it to make a real striking accent. Big old bell. I like that a lot. $265 is a fair price. It's been a little over restored, to be honest with you, though. This booth is fun, though, because you are being watched. Look up. Well, that's good. Hello. They should be taking care of their store. That's great. Very old hand-painted rare vase. Well, I don't know about rare, but very pretty. Austrian. It looks like, yes.
This one has the Robert Honka mark on it. The RH Royal Vettina was his line, and this is from about 1900.
This is a nice little child stove. This is an old one. No bad filing marks. The silver is the right color. It's had some oxidation. It's $185 with everything. And it's got everything. It is Fenton. It is...
No, it's not that much.
165?
I still thought it was a lot.
125. I don't know. In this market now, So it's entirely possible because it's a Fenton piece and it does glow, and it's, you know, some people really like the yellow hobnail. My mother had these cats. I think they're 1980s Japan. $20 on the pair. Could also be Taiwan in that era, though. Let's come back in here. This is a nice display of glass, don't you think? I see pieces I definitely like. And they all come from the Nancy Degenhardt estate. Okay. 95 on that one.
Prices are very...
Well, they're what you expect now for this sort of thing. It's just not anything I'm going to buy for resale. But I have found some stuff, and I found some cool stuff here. I do like this store, I have to say. It's got, you know, it's fun to not look at just tons of mess stuff to get to the bargains. I mean, honestly, if I have the choice between looking through a bunch of stuff that's not very interesting to find 10 things, or I have the chance to look through a bunch of good stuff to find 10 things, I'm kind of happy with the latter. Pancho Villa there. The Bandito is $15.
$10.
Yeah, that's interesting. I grew up with that piece. I remember it now. And yes, it's Japanese. It would have been really cheap at the Navy Exchange.
Oh.
So this is a nicely sized store. In fact, it's kind of the perfect size in some ways. There's about 40 or 50 dealers, and it's well displayed. You could definitely keep coming back to a place like this and follow it as the merchandise changes and the seasons change. And it seems like they really, you know, there's effort being put into this, and it's all antique and vintage. I didn't see a bunch of new stuff, and that's a real pleasure too. $150 for this. I've never seen this piece before. It's got to be 1970s because it's got pitch in when people were suddenly being made aware that littering wasn't a great idea anymore. The doll head perfume is cute. It needs to be in a little better condition, but at $20 would be about the right price. Oh, a Viking Georgian basket. I like the color. That's the blue neat. I'm guessing $40. Only 10? It's probably because it's a basket and they're a little harder to sell. The handles look like they're joined fine, though. Has break on edge. Oh, and I see it right there. Yeah. Yeah, be careful. In fact, it's actually pretty sharp. Yeah, it's funny how you can pick something up and miss it because you really have to look around the whole thing because, you know, you only see the side you saw. Hand-painted cookie jar. This is Randsburg, made in Indiana. Hand-painted in the 50s. It's very rustic looking, but that was the whole point. And they did very well for a while. Now, this is fun. I have not seen this pink and green shading of a Blendo pitcher. And I like the glasses as well. It says 45 on the pitcher. I don't suspect that that includes all of these. I actually like these better because they have more color. And they are $55, which is $11 each, which is not a horrible price. I really like that carafe. I used to see these all the time when I first was doing this. It's going to be Californian, and it's actually Bauer from the early 30s. It's supposed to have a stopper, though. The vintage phone table is kind of cute. And it is $55. That could certainly be useful in a lot of places, but it's gotten a little bit chewed in the corner.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Your coat's clean to spotless perfection. Great headdress on this felt pendant from Anna, Illinois. I'm guessing Anna was not the Native American name for it. $32. Old logo Pepsi glasses from before 1970. I've had the Fall City beer perpetual calendars before. And since it's 1980, if you were born before this date in 1959, then you got to buy beer. $38. That seems like about the right price, but it'd be nice if it had the whole calendar. Well, Cricket and Red Brick Antiques was a real fun find, and this has just been a really great day of wandering a road that I never intended to go down in the first place and finding cool stuff along the way. I hope you're having as good a time as I do as we drive around America and find interesting antiques and vintage to show and tell about. And now,
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help, and we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.